guys, so did Darth Vader ever use Force lightning? This has been talked about for ages, amongst groups, forums, and overall discussion online. While every single answer always says no, he never did, I hope this video can finally put it to rest. The information is no longer canon. However, before Disney did take over, it naturally was. So before we begin, Vader absolutely did use Force lightning, and it was against Luke. I'm going to read a passage from the novel The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader, which explains this scene by the author. However, this is a 4-part comic issue from Star Wars Splinter of the Mind's Eye, released in 1995 and 1996. However, that comic itself was a print from the novel back in 1978. The events of our story take place 2 years after the destruction of the first Death Star, where Vader is informed by an Imperial governor that Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia Organa were captured on the swamp planet Mimban, home to the legend of the Kaiburr Crystal. The crystal was this luminous crimson-colored gem that magnified the Force 1,000-fold to whoever used it. So Vader flew to the planet to collect the rebels and the crystal itself. As Vader catches up with Luke and Leia on the planet, they end up at the vine-encrusted temple of Pomoyema, which was a pyramidal ziggurat made of volcanic rocks, constructed in honor of an ancient native god. The temple also housed the ancient Kaiburr Crystal. As Vader toyed with Luke, he started cutting stone back and forth along the temple walls. As Luke fell back and to the floor, Vader turned his attention to Leia, taunting her and telling her to pick up Luke's lightsaber, as he fought her too, mind you playfully, then discarded her to the side as she threw Luke the lightsaber back, who emerged from the rubble and told Vader that Ben Kenobi is here, and along with him is the Force. So now that you guys are all caught up, let's start the story. The duel was furious, and carried Vader and Skywalker through the temple to a chamber where there was a dark, circular opening in the floor, the mouth of a deep pit. As the battle wore on, Vader found himself breathing hard through his respirator. But then, thanks to his proximity to the Force-enhancing Kaiburr Crystal, he felt a sudden surge of power of the dark side, allowing him to project lightning from his fingertips for the first time in his life. He hurled Force-energized lightning at Skywalker, but his young opponent deflected the blast.
Not possible,
Vader muttered, feeling his energy drain.
Such power in a child. Not possible.
As Skywalker threw himself at the towering black figure, Vader raised his lightsaber to defend himself, but he wasn't fast enough. Skywalker's blade cut through the Sith Lord's prosthetic right arm, and it fell to the floor, still clutching the red-bladed lightsaber. Dazed, Vader bent down and used his left hand to pry his weapon from the gloved fingers of his severed arm. He was shifting his weight to make another attack when he suddenly had a clear view of the lightsaber in Skywalker's grip. The weapon's design and hand grip looked familiar. Vader's head suddenly felt heavy, and as he tried to move forward, he stumbled over his severed limb. The robotic arm tumbled after him as he plummeted into the nearby pit. He howled as he descended into the darkness, and it seemed like his fall would never end. Throughout the fall, he thought of Skywalker's lightsaber. Vader would have sworn it was the same weapon that Obi-Wan had taken from Anakin Skywalker on Mustafar. He didn't stop howling with rage until he crashed in a heap upon a pile of hard stones. There we have it, guys, the first time Vader ever used Force lightning in his life. While it was through the help of a Kaiburr Crystal that jump-started his Force powers, it did allow him to perform something that his suit and robotic arms restricted him from ever doing. What I'd like to point out about this is that we know Snoke is wearing a massive Kaiburr Crystal ring on his hand. So once again, clearly Disney is pulling at some ideas here from what they deem to be legends. The rest of the story gets even more interesting, as he realizes Luke is the only person to help him overthrow the Emperor, waking up tasting blood in his mouth. He later goes to meet Boba Fett and sends him to capture Luke, which Disney also made a canon comic on, where Boba fights Luke and loses, however returns to tell Vader his son's name. Disney is definitely taking content, but they're just scrambling it around a bit. There was also another type of Force lightning. It was more of a kinetic Force storm, where Vader would create a ball of electric kinetic energy and push it to his enemy, therefore never letting the currents touch him, rather just creating it from a few feet in front of himself. We can see that used in the comic Darth Vader and the Ghost Prison, Issue 3. What do you think of Vader using Force Lightning? Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to hit that like button and support the channel. Without you, I couldn't be doing this. And I hope it gives you something cool to talk about with your fellow Star Wars theorists. Thanks again for watching, everyone. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's episode of Star Wars Theory. But until we meet again, remember...
The Force.
No, go away, Palpatine. We don't want you. We want the other guy who does the outro.
The Force will be with you always.